She was just a poor girl helping an old woman on the street. But little did she know, that old woman was a billionaire with a shocking secret. What happened next changed her life forever. But was it a blessing or a curse? The truth will leave you speechless. Stay with us until the end to discover the unimaginable twist. Rain pounded the pavement. Cold wind bit through her thin jacket. Lena hunched her shoulders, arms wrapped tight across her chest. The city ignored her as usual. She stepped around puddles, her shoes soaked through. The screech of tires cut through the rain. A silver car spun on the slick road, veered toward the sidewalk. An old woman stood frozen. Her cane slipped from her trembling hand. The headlights glared like twin suns. Lena ran. Her heart pounded. Her breath burned. She slammed into the woman, knocking her to the ground. The car missed them by inches. Steam hissed from the car's hood. The driver never looked back. He sped off into the storm. The woman clutched Lena's arm, eyes wide and shining. "You saved me," she whispered. Her voice was soft like parchment crumbling. "Are you hurt?" Lena asked. She helped her sit up on the wet sidewalk. People passed by, umbrellas bobbing, never stopping. The woman's coat was soaked, her hair plastered to her face. But she smiled. Strange, knowing smile. "I will not forget this," she said. Lena brushed rain from her own eyes. "I just did what anyone would do." The woman stared at her. Anyone would not have risked their life. She reached into her coat with shaking fingers, pulled out a card, handed it to Lena. "Come to this address. Tomorrow." Her eyes narrowed. "I insist." Then she walked away, steady despite the cane. The card was heavy. No name. Only an address. Lena stood there, the cold forgotten. A strange chill slid down her spine. The rain stopped. The city noise returned. The next day, Lena hesitated outside a tall black gate. Security cameras watched her like silent eyes. She pressed the buzzer. A man in a suit opened the door. He said nothing, only gestured. The hallway inside gleamed with gold fixtures. Marble floors reflected the chandelier's light. She followed him through a long corridor. Each painting on the wall looked worth more than her entire life. The scent of roses drifted in from a hidden garden. She was led into a sunlit room. The old woman waited in a silk robe. A man stood beside her. Young. Sharp suit. His eyes met Lena's. Blue. Piercing. He tilted his head, studying her. The woman gestured for Lena to sit. "You are brave," she said. Her voice held power now. Not fragile. Commanding. "I built an empire," she continued. "Now I need someone to protect it." Lena's hands trembled in her lap. "I do not understand." The woman smiled again, this time colder. "My son needs a wife." The man stepped closer. His jaw clenched. He did not speak. The room felt smaller. The air heavier. "You saved me," the woman said. "Now I will save you." Lena looked around, suddenly aware of the silence. Even the birds outside had gone quiet. "You do not have to decide now," the woman said. "But once you enter this world." Her eyes locked onto Lena's. "You cannot leave." Lena's pulse thundered. Her throat dried. She looked at the man. He was still staring. Not at her face. At her hands. Her hands were shaking. She tried to steady them. The woman stood slowly. Walked toward her. She placed a cool hand on Lena's cheek. "You will be my daughter." Behind her, a door clicked shut. Lena turned. The suited man from before was gone. The hallway now. Silent. She was not sure if she could leave. Not sure if she was meant to. The woman spoke again. But her voice was different. Lower. Like someone else entirely was speaking through her lips. The room darkened, though the sun still shone outside. Shadows gathered in corners. The chandelier flickered once. Lena stood, her breath short, her legs numb. She reached for the card in her pocket. It was gone. The man stepped forward, took her hand. His skin was cold. Too cold. The woman smiled. You chose to save me. Her voice echoed. You were chosen. Lena tried to pull her hand away. His grip tightened. Not painful, but inescapable. The chandelier above sparked. A light bulb burst. Glass rained down, but none touched the floor. It hovered, suspended midair. Lena gasped. Her voice caught in her throat. The room was silent, yet full of sound. A low hum beneath her skin. The woman circled her now. Low. Measured. Her silk robe whispered across the marble. You stepped into my fate, she said. The shadows in the corners twisted. Shapes formed. Not human. Not anything Lena had seen before. She backed away. But there was no door. No window. Only walls that seemed closer than before. You have spirit, the woman said. And spirit is rare. Lena's knees buckled. The man caught her. He leaned in. Whispered against her ear. You still have a choice. But not much time. The air crackled with energy. A wind blew through the sealed room. The roses in the vase wilted in seconds. The chandelier swung violently above. You can run, the woman said. Or rise. Her eyes glowed faintly. Gold flickering like flame. Lena's heart pounded. Her skin burned where the man's hand held hers. But it was not pain. It was something waking. Inside her. Something she did not understand. Not yet. But it felt ancient. She opened her mouth to speak. No words came. Only a sound. Low and not her own. The man stepped back. Eyes wide. The woman smiled again. This time with approval. You are ready, she said. Or at least, ready enough. The floor shifted beneath Lena's feet. Not crumbling. Changing. Symbols emerged in the marble. Glowing faintly, then pulsing bright. The air was thick. Alive. You saved me from death, the woman said. And now I return the gift. She raised her hand. The symbols flared. And Lena fell. Not downward, but inward. Into herself. Into memory. Into fire. Into something far older than the city. Older than blood. Older than the woman who now stood waiting. With her arms open. And her eyes burning like two endless suns. The fire did not burn. It whispered. Flame a voice. Voice a name. Lena saw faces. Not her own. Not anyone she knew. But somehow she did. A girl with silver eyes. A warrior in black armor. A mother cradling a child of shadow. All looking at her. All waiting. The flames circled her. They did not scorch. They showed. They remembered. You carry them now, said the woman. Though her voice no longer came from her mouth. Came from the flames. From the floor. From Lena herself. You are not just a girl who helped a stranger. You are the echo of every daughter who chose the fire. And the fire remembers. Lena's body lifted from the marble. Her feet no longer touched the ground. Her hair floated around her like ink in water. Her eyes filled with gold. The man knelt. Head bowed. She is awakening, he said. His voice trembled. The woman laughed. But the sound cracked like thunder. You saved a life, she said. And now you must bear what comes after. Lena opened her mouth again. This time her voice returned. I never asked for this. You did, the woman said. When you ran into danger without fear. When you reached out your hand. When you defied death. The flames drew close. They touched her skin. Cold and hot at once. Like memory. Symbols crawled up her arms. Glowing. Marking her. Claiming her. Her heart beat once, louder than before. Then again. And the room broke. Walls peeled away like paper. The sky above was black. No stars. Only eyes. Watching. Lena hovered above the stone floor. She looked down at her hands. They pulsed with light. And something else. Power. I do not know who I am, she said. Not yet. But I will find out. The woman nodded once. And vanished. The man stood. His face pale. Then you must choose your first command, he said. Everything is listening. The world waited. Silent. And Lena. She opened her mouth to speak. Her voice came like a blade through still air. Clear. And shaking. Let truth reveal itself. The sky split. Not with light, but with memory. Visions poured down. Cities rising and falling. Kings crowned in blood. Mothers burying daughters. Wolves made of smoke. Men made of bone. Lena's body shook. Not from fear, but recognition. The power within her answered. Pulse in her spine. A ringing in her teeth. It was all hers now. And always had been. The man stepped back. He could not meet her eyes. You are not what we expected, he said. You are more. The ground below her shifted again. The symbols changed color. Gold to red. Red to black. Then glowing white. A doorway appeared. Carved with faces screaming in silence. She knew it was not made of wood or stone. It was shaped from choices. From every step that led her here. She took one breath. The scent of ash and roses filled her lungs. Then she walked forward. The man reached for her. Once you pass through, you are bound, he said. She did not pause. Did not speak. Her hand touched the door. Did not open. Pulled her through. Flash of cold. A scream too ancient for words. Then silence. When Lena opened her eyes. She stood in a chamber without walls. The stars were beneath her feet. Above her, a sky of glass. Cracked but unbroken. He turned. The old woman stood waiting again. But now, she wore a crown. Made not of jewels, but bone and flame. And beside her stood others. Figures draped in shadow. Faces hidden. Eyes burning. You chose, said the crowned woman. And we chose you. A throne formed behind Lena. Dark stone. Wrapped in thorned vines. Pulsing with faint light. You saved a life, the woman said again. But the cost of life is balance. Lena stepped closer to the throne. She did not sit. Not yet. Why me? She asked. Her voice echoed in the stars below. Because only the lost are brave enough to be found. And with that, the stars beneath her began to rise. The stars drifted upward, slow at first, then faster, like embers pulled toward breath. They circled her body, brushing against her skin, with the softness of memory, and the weight of destiny. Each one whispered her name, but not the name she had always known. Another, older, forgotten. She could feel it now, etched into her bones, like a lullaby, sung by something ancient. And unfinished, the crowned woman raised her hand. The others behind her did the same, as if in reverence, or warning. You must sit, she said. Her voice was wind, blowing through time-worn ruins. To refuse now is to unravel everything. Lena turned toward the throne. The vines recoiled at her gaze. The stone pulsed, inviting, but not gentle. She stepped forward. Her shadow stretched behind her, but it no longer looked like her. It stood tall, straight back, crowned. She placed one hand on the throne, cold, alive, breathing with something buried deep. She sat. A low thunder rippled through the chamber. The glass sky above cracked again, this time bleeding light. The stars stopped rising. They froze in place, suspended, and then, they turned. Every single one. Faced Lena. Watched her. Judged her. She felt it press against her chest. Against her ribs. Like a second heartbeat. The man appeared again. Now dressed in black. No longer silent. You are not only air, he said. You are key. She opened her mouth to speak. But a voice answered her from within. Not his. Not hers. Not human. Open the gate. The stars shifted again, lining, spinning, forming a pattern only the dead remembered. And slowly, with a sound like metal groaning under the weight of eternity, a gate emerged from the darkness. Twisted, alive. Behind it, something breathed, The breath behind the gate was slow, hungry. It did not sound like wind, or beast, or machine. It sounded like grief, ancient, starved, watching. Lena gripped the arms of the throne. The stone grew warm beneath her fingers. Alive. Where? The man in black stepped back, head lowered, eyes hidden. You must speak its name, the crowned woman said. Before it speaks yours. The stars began to tremble, not from fear, but anticipation. Lena could feel it pressing at the edge of her mind. Name. Heavy. Tangled in centuries. It slithered through her blood, clawed its way through memory. She had never heard it before, and yet, she knew it. She stood. The throne groaned in protest, but did not stop her. Her voice rose. It was not loud, did not need to be. She spoke the name. The gate responded, shuddered, cracked, and it opened. A breath escaped from the other side, hot and cold at once, like frost that burns. The chamber dimmed. The stars blinked out one by one. The ground below her flickered, until it showed no stars. Only eyes. Thousands. All watching her. All waiting for what she would become. Something stepped forward. Did not walk. It unfolded. Its shape shifted with every blink. Woman. Serpent. A crown of limbs and smoke. You summoned me, said. And its voice was her own. The crowned woman knelt. So did the others. But Lena did not. She stared into its many faces. And it smiled. With too many mouths. I did not summon you, she said. I opened the door. The thing tilted its head. Then do you command me? Lena's heart beat once. The air around her stilled. The sky held its breath. She stepped toward the gate. Closer than anyone had dared. I do not command you, she said, her voice steady, cutting through the silence like glass. I invite you. The creature stilled. Its shifting form paused, like time held in a clenched fist. The chamber pulsed, walls of nothingness breathing in. Now, the stars flickered back to life, one by one, in reverse order. You invite me, the thing whispered, its voices layered. Child, elder, beast, storm. Do you understand what I am? Lena took one more step. Closer. So close she could feel its heat. And its cold. Swirled together like ink in water. I understand what I was, she said. And I know what I must become. The creature leaned forward. Its many eyes blinked. Not in rhythm, but in sequence. As if it were remembering. And choosing. The same time. You are not like the others. No, Lena replied. They bowed. I burned. The creature laughed. It echoed through the gate, through the stars, through the bones of the watchers. Reached out. Its hand was a storm. Its fingers were centuries. Its touch was velvet and razor. It brushed against her cheek. Lena did not flinch. I accept your invitation, said. But the door swings both ways. Lena nodded. I know. The crowned woman rose behind her. The others followed. Their faces had changed. Eyes darker. Shadows deeper. They had seen. What waited. Beyond. The gate fully opened. Light poured out. But not white. Not golden. A color no one alive had ever named. A color made of truth. And ruin. And unspoken promise. It wrapped around Lena, lifted her. The throne cracked. The marble split. The symbols melted into the floor, like blood into soil. And then, the stars began to spin again. Faster, faster. The watchers chanted in silence. The man in black stepped forward. He did not speak. He knelt. As Lena turned, her eyes now burned with the same fire as the gate itself. The creature stood behind her, not as her master, but her shadow. I was chosen, she said. But now, I choose. And the sky above tore itself open. The tear in the sky was silent. No thunder, no scream, only the sound of everything remembering. what it had tried to forget. Light spilled downward. But it did not fall. It descended. Like judgment. The chamber vanished. Stone dissolved beneath her feet. Now Lena stood. On nothing. And everything. Time folded in on itself. Moments passed. Centuries. Lives. Wars. In a blink. And she saw them all. The girl who drowned to save her sister. The mother who whispered curses to stop a tyrant's breath. The nameless child who fed a god with her last crumb of hope. Each face flickered across her vision. Until her own appeared. Not as she was. But as she would be. A crown not with gold. But with stars caught in ice. She reached up. The sky bent to her touch. Its edges tore further. Through the rip. Came a hum. Not music. Not language. Truth. Lena felt it pour through her chest. Down her arms. Into her fingers. She could feel the weight of choice. In every cell of her body. The creature behind her spoke again. You have opened what should remain closed. And yet, Lena said, I was born to open it. The stars slowed. The light froze. The watchers trembled. Something was crossing through. Not a god. Not a monster. Something older than either. It moved without form. It breathed worlds into silence. It knew her name. The real one. The name buried under lifetimes of forgetting. And when it came, it did not speak. It entered. Into her mind. Her soul. Her history. She gasped. Every muscle locked. Every thought bent. Not broken. Rewritten. The sky turned inside out. The gate collapsed. The stars vanished in a blink. And Lena stood. In the ruin. Of everything that had ever tried. To stop her becoming. She looked down at her hands. No longer flesh. Not entirely. They glowed. With memory. With consequence. With power wrapped in blood. The creature bowed. The crowned woman wept. The man in black spoke one word. The word struck the silence. Like a bell tolling across the bones of time. Mother. Lena did not move. She could not. The sound rooted her. Threaded itself through her ribs. Curled around her spine. The man in black remained kneeling. His head pressed to the shifting ground. The crowned woman's tears turned to ash. Before they touched her cheeks. She did not wipe them away. The creature. The shadow that once stood behind Lena. Now shimmered beside her. Smaller. Diminished. Its form flickered. Like flame about to die. Or be consumed. Lena stepped forward. With each step. The world bent. Not broken. Reshaped. Rewritten. A new floor formed beneath her feet. It pulsed with the rhythm of her heartbeat. The chamber. Or what was left of it. Grew quiet. Even the light held still. Like it feared her. She looked at the man. He trembled. You knew, she said. Her voice lined with metal. And mourning. He nodded once. I served your name. Before you ever wore it. And the others. They feared it. Lena turned to the woman. Her crown was cracked now. Fractures running like veins. Through the bone and flame. Why hide me? The woman's voice was smaller than before. Because your return means the cycle ends. And we. She looked around at the others behind her. We were not ready to vanish. Lena raised her hand. The stars, what remained of them, responded instantly. They gathered above her. Swirling. A halo of judgment. You would have let me live a life of silence. Lena said. Scrubbing floors. Fading into alleys. Chasing coins and empty praise. You would have stolen this from me. No, the woman whispered. We tried to protect you. Lena's eyes lit gold and white and crimson. No. You tried to protect yourselves. The floor split open beneath the woman's feet. Dark vines slithered out. Wrapped around her ankles. Her wrist. Her throat. She did not scream. She only nodded. I welcome the end, she said. And vanished. The others followed. Willing. Weeping. Silent. Only the man remained. And the creature. And Lena. She turned to the gate. Or the place it had been. A faint shimmer still hovered there. A scar in the air. Behind it, she could sense more. More names. More voices. More power. Waiting to remember her. Will you walk through again? The man asked. Lena looked at her hands. At the world waiting beyond. I will not walk, she said. I will tear it open. And with a whisper, the scar began to bleed. The shimmer thickened, twisting like smoke caught in a storm. Pulsed, not with light, but with memory. A rhythm older than breath, older than pain. The scar widened, not like a wound, but like a mouth. Lena stepped closer. Her footsteps made no sound. Yet the air beneath her feet cracked, split, sighed. The man behind her rose to stand. But he kept his eyes lowered. You will not return, he said. His voice trembled, fragile as dust on water. No, Lena replied. Because I never truly left. The creature beside her now crawled, its form reduced to whispers and flickers. She turned to it, held out her hand, hesitated. Its many eyes blinked in chaotic rhythm. You are not afraid? It asked. I am done with fear, Lena said. It served me once. Now it will serve you. It took her hand. Instantly, its form exploded, not into ash, but into threads of black and gold. They wrapped around her wrist, slid up her arm, vanished beneath her skin, and she changed, not visibly, not entirely, but something inside her shifted. The scar widened once more. She could see through it now. Cities made of bones and light. Skies cracked with thunder. That whispered secrets in languages no tongue could hold. Throne, floating in silence, waited. Me. Not for a ruler, but for a reckoning. Lena stepped through the threshold. The moment her foot crossed, the chamber behind her shattered. The man cried out, not in pain, but in awe. Because where she once stood, nothing remained. No echo, no dust, no trace, only silence, deep, and watching. And in the world beyond, Lena opened her eyes. Once more, she was no longer human. She was no longer girl, or servant, or savior. She was the door. She was the storm. She was the thing they had all feared to awaken. And far beneath her, in a world that had forgotten how to pray, someone looked up to the sky and whispered her name, and the stars answered back. Lena stood at the edge of the endless expanse, the weight of time and fate hanging around her like a cloak. She felt the world move beneath her feet, the pulsing of life, the quiet unfolding of what had always been. Her name echoed in the heavens, but now it was no longer just a name. It was a sound that hummed in every corner of existence, resonating with those who had come before her, and those who would follow after. The power within her no longer surged like a tempest, but flowed like the deep river of the cosmos. Steady, unbreakable, undisturbed. The door had closed, but she was not the one to lock it. She had only been the key. And now she stood in the place where the boundaries blurred, between what was, what is, and what will be. The shadows no longer whispered her secrets. They welcomed her as one of their own, a keeper of all things, a witness to every untold story, every forgotten dream. And in the farthest distance, soft light flickered. It was not the light of stars, not the light of gods, but something more, the gentle light of beginnings. She turned toward it, and with a single breath, the world around her dissolved into the sound of silence. Her last thought was not one of sorrow or triumph, but of peace, the kind that only comes when you have seen all, understood all, and chosen to leave it all behind. For in that moment, Lena knew, she had never been meant to rule. She had never been meant to dominate. She was meant to become. The door that had once opened before her now stood closed. But it was not the end. It was only the next step. And beyond it, She could hear the faintest whisper, calling her forward into the unknown, a place where everything and nothing existed. With one final, knowing smile, Lena walked into the light. And the story of who she was, and what she had become, was left behind in the stars.